Good afternoon, everyone. I am Ana Lorin Miliaza, and together with me are Christine Alvarez, Jessary Arimas, Janra Arnaiz, Christy Isito, Ferhana Mariga, and Gayan Pangarag. We are the Group 4. We will be reporting the Module 6, which is the Global Cities and Global Citizenship.
First, let's define the global citizenship. A global citizenship is someone who cares about others and the world they live in. It means a person who shows compassion and concern for the well being of other people in the environment. And also, they understand their actions can have an impact on other and strive to make positive contributes to society in the planet. Then they take an action to support causes they believe in and work with others to make a positive impact on their planet. It means they actively do things to help those causes and they work with others because it is more effective to make a positive impact together. By doing this, they aim to make a difference and improve the world around them. Someone who identifies with being part of an emerging world community and whose action contributes to building these community values and practices. A simple example action that contributes to building the values and practices of an emerging world community could be participating in a cultural exchange program. Let's say someone identifies with being part of an emerging world community that values diversity, understanding, and global connection. And also they can take action by actively engaging in a cultural exchange program where they connect with individuals from different countries and backgrounds. They may also host international students, organize cultural events, or participate in language exchange programs. Global citizen is one who respects and values diversity. Respecting and valuing diversity means recognizing and appreciating the different among people in terms of their backgrounds, cultures, beliefs, and identities. And also it is involved treating all individuals with fairness, openness, and acceptance regarding of their race, gender, sexual orientation, religion, or abilities. And the second one is knowledgeable of and works against social injustices, means having an understanding of the various forms of inequality and discrimination that exist in society and taking action to address and eradicate them. Number three has an understanding of the world. And number four is participates in communities at all levels from local to global. Number five is take responsibility for his or her action and beliefs. And the last one is aware of the world and has a sense of their role in it. So we have the two assumptions which this articles explores the definition of global citizenships. So the first one is that there is such a thing as an emerging world community to which people can identify. So the concept of an emerging world community refers to the idea that people from different parts of the world can come together and identify themselves as part of a global community. And also it recognizes that the interconnectedness and interdependence of individuals across borders and cultures. This emerging world community is characterized by shared values, aspirations, and a sense of collective responsibility towards addressing global developing or involving set of principles and behaviors within an emerging world community. And the last one is such a community has a nascent set of values and practices. So a nascent set of values and practices refers to a suggested that the community it is its earlier stages or defining and adopting shared beliefs, norms, and ways of cooperating. These values and practices may encompass concepts such as challenges, sustainability, social justice, and cultural understanding and global cooperations. So, to be a good global citizen, we must understand we were born of this world, protect our country, the world, when called upon to do so, stand up and defend against the injustice we see, understand the interconnectedness, respect and value diversity, and take action in meaningful ways.
Globality is the end state of globalization, a hypothetical condition in which the process of globalization is complete or nearly so. Barriers have fallen and a new global reality is emerging. The term was used in 1998 by author and economist called Daniel Yergin in a Newsweek article that described the end state of globalization process. And in his book, Commanding Heights, titled The Battle for the World Economy. William Safire traces the etymology of globality in his book No Uncertain Terms and identifies a range of citations as far back as 1942, when it was used as a synonym for global. The current uses of globality as it applies to business and as description of the current competitive state of world commerce was not adopted until recently. The term has been described by William J. Holstein in the New York Times as a new buzzword that doesn't work. It merely describes trends that have been underway for at least two decades under a very similar name.
Globality versus globalism. An ideology known as globalism favors globalization primarily for economic benefits and contracts. Globality describes the social and cultural effect of globalization. So globalism, a national policy of treating the whole world as a proper sphere of political influence, compared with imperialism and internationalism.
So there we have here defining the global city. New global cities have since arisen not only as financial centers, but also producers of services that are global in scope. So when we say global cities, from the word global, it is what we call the power city, the world city, or the alpha city. It is an urban center that enjoys significant competitive advantages and that serves as a hub within a global economic system. So, masilingid nga ang mga examples ng global cities is more capable not only in financial but also to production, consumption, and exchanging of activities. Global cities are post-industrial. So what do we mean when we say post-industrial? So when we say post-industrial, it is a concept of economic describing when the service sector produces more wealth. So it tells that manufacturing has been scattered across national and global networks, turned from landscapes of production to landscapes of consumption. Sociologist Saskia Sassen popularized this term. So who is Saskia Sassen? Saskia Sassen is a Dutch-American sociologist and also known for her analysis of globalization and international human migration. According to her, the global city are the New York, London, Tokyo 1990, that has shaped the concepts and methods used to analyze the role of cities and their networks in the contemporary world. Sassen's concept of global city gives emphasis on the flow of information and capital. Global cities are major nodes in the interconnected systems of information and money, and the wealth that they capture is intimately related to the specialized business that facilitate to those flows. Making sense of urban systems and their global networks, in the age of globalization, the activities of production are scattered on the global basis. So these complex, globalized production networks require new forms of financial and producer services to manage them. In simple understanding of global cities, sila na ang mga competitive group of countries that develop alternative methods for being around world cities, nakabase na in the influence through finance, trade, and culture worldwide.
Attributes of global city. Seats of economic power. New York have the largest stock market in the world. Tokyo houses the most number of corporate headquarters. Shanghai plays critical role in the global economic supply. Center of authority. Washington, D.C., not healthy as New York, but it's the seat of American power. Canberra is Australia political capital, home to country's politicians and bureaucrats. Center of political influence. Cities that house major international organizations, UN, New York, EU, Brazil. Center of higher learning and culture. The question then becomes how to identify these cities and perhaps to determine to what extent they function as global cities, especially beyond all the other things that they do simply as cities. At Kearney's list, developed in conjunction with the Chicago Council on Global Affairs, Global Cities Index uses criteria across 5 dimensions. So, the 5 dimensions are business activity, human capital, information exchange, cultural experience, and political engagement.
Business activity. Headquarters, service firm, capital markets, value, number of international conference, value of good through ports and airports. Therefore, the value of capital markets, international conference, and good through ports and airports. Human capital, size of foreign-born population, quality of universities, number of international schools, international student population, number of residents with college degrees. So, foreign-born population, quality of university, number of international school, international student population. Information exchange, accessibility of major TV news channels, internet presence, basically number of search hits, numbers of international news viewers, censorships, and broadband subscribers rate. Developed in conjunction with the Chicago Council of Global Affairs, Global Cities Index uses criteria across 5 dimensions. So, Global Cities Index uses 5 dimensions to rank cities. Cultural experience, number of sporting events, museum, performing arts venues, culinary establishments, international visitors, and sister city relationship. Therefore, the most important idea is the variety of activities and relationships. Political engagements, number of embassies and consultants, think tanks, international organizations, political conference. So, political engagements is facilitated by a variety of organizations.
The Institute for Urban Strategies at the Maury Memorial Foundation in Tokyo published another study called the Global Power City Index 2011. This report examined cities in terms of functions demanded by several actor types: manager, researcher, artist, visitor, and resident. Global Power City Index, or the GPCI, is the first effort in Japan to analyze and rank comprehensive power of the world's major cities. Instead of just focusing on specific areas like finance, livability, and others, the GPCI looks at a variety of functions which express urban strength in order to assess and rank cities' comprehensive power. So tungod sa global competition between cities, ang Global Power City Index o the GPCI, amo ni siya ang gasuri kagarang or garango sa mga cities base sa ila magnetism o ang comprehensive power to attract people, capital kag mga negosyo around the world. So ginhimo ni siya sa paagi sa pagtakos sang 6 functional areas. Number 1, economy, na include na ang market attractiveness, economic vitality, business environment, regulation and risk. Number 2, research and development, research background, readiness for accepting and supporting researchers, research achievement. Number 3, cultural interaction, which include transiting potential, accommodation environment, resources of attracting visitors, dining or shopping, volume interaction. Number 4, livability, include working environment, cost of living, security and safety, life support functions. Number 5, environment, ecology, population, natural environment. And the last, accessibility, include international transportation infrastructure, inner city transportation infrastructure. These 6 functional areas, sila na provide sa multidimensional ranking. As I mentioned earlier, sa 6 functional areas, gabase ang GPCI sa pagrank sa mga cities. Among sa 48 major global cities, ang London, New York, and Tokyo are the top 3 cities around the world tungod sila ang mga cities na high score according sa GPCI.
Another popular ranking is the Economics Intelligence Unit's Global City Competitiveness Index. They rank cities on a number of domains: economic strengths, nominal GDP per capita GDP, percent of household with economic consumption, $14,000 year real GDP growth rate, regional market integration, human capital, population growth, working age, population, entrepreneurship, and risk-taking mindset, quality of education, quality of healthcare, hiring of foreign nationals, institutional effectiveness, electoral process and pluralism, local government, fiscal autonomy, taxation, rule of law, government of effectiveness, so that economic strengths, human capital, and institution effectiveness are essential for economic growth.
So, the Globalization and World Cities Research Network, commonly abbreviated to GAWC, is a think tank that studies the relationship between world cities in the context of globalization. It is based in the Geography Department of Loughborough University in Leicestershire, England, United Kingdom. GAWC was founded by Peter J. Taylor in 1998 together with John Beaverstock and Richard G. Smith. They create the Gulf's biannual categorization of world cities into alpha, beta, and gamma, based upon their international connectedness. The GAWC City Classification ranks cities based on their connectivity, economics, political, or cultural factors, and additional cities with high sufficiency or sufficiency presence. The 2008 roster is sorted into categories. First one is Alpha. Alpha level cities are linked to major economic state and regions into the world economy, and they are classified into 4 sections, which is the Alpha plus plus, Alpha plus, Alpha, and Alpha minus. Alpha plus plus cities are cities most integrated with the global economy, while Alpha plus cities are highly integrated cities filling advanced service needs. The second one is Beta. Beta level cities are cities that link moderate economic regions to the world economy and are classified in 3 sections: Beta plus, Beta, and Beta minus cities. The third one is Gamma level cities. Gamma level cities are cities that link smaller economic regions into the world economy and are classified into three sections: Gamma plus, Gamma, and Gamma minus cities. Gamma is a sufficiency level cities are cities that have sufficient degree of services so as not to be overly dependent on world cities. This is sorted into high sufficiency cities and sufficiency cities. So lastly, we have the conclusion. The first one is global cities as material representation of globalization. So when we say this, global cities it is physically embody the processes, effects, and characteristic of globalization, serving as visible manifestation of interconnectedness and interdependence. Number two is they are places that create the exciting fusion of culture and ideas, which also generate tremendous wealth. Global cities are dynamic places where diverse cultures, ideas, and people came together, fostering a fusion of culture and generating significant wealth through economic activities. The third one yet, they remain sites of great inequality where global servants served global entrepreneurship. Indeed, despite the wealth and opportunities generated, global cities often face significant inequalities. There is a divide between privileged global entrepreneurs and the less advantaged global servants who work in low wage service oriented roles. Last is the question of how globalization can be made more just as partly a question of how people make their cities more just. In this, the question of creating a more just globalization is closely linked to creating more just cities. Addressing inequality in global cities requires effort to ensure equitable access to education, healthcare, affordable housing, and economic opportunities for all residents. So, in summary, global cities shows globalization physically and encompass or integrate its traits and processes. They are driving centers where various cultures and ideas co- co- combine or merge, creating enormous riches. These cities do, however, also have a lot of inequity, which global servants serving global entrepreneurs in privileged roles. In order to reach a more equitable globalization, it is essential to overcome these disparities by working toward inclusive cities that give all citizens equal access to economic, medical, and educational possibilities. And that would be all. Thank you.